recording. Okay. So in the last class, okay, we have discussed about versions, right? SQL Server versions, Windows Server versions, okay, about build number, CTP, RC, RTM, okay. What is the build number? How many parts build number will be there? These and all we have discussed in the last class, okay, right? So we have already discussed the editions of the SQL Server. Okay, we have different types of editions. Can anyone tell me what are the different types of editions in the SQL Server? Sorry for that. Yeah, what are the different types of editions in SQL Server? At least tell me one or two editions.
Yes, sir. That standard edition, enterprise edition,
Okay, very
developer
good.
edition.
Very good, very good. Okay. So these are the different types of editions in the SQL Server. Okay. Right, fine. So we just discussed the basic features of these editions. Okay, right. So now next is components of the SQL Server. So what will be the components of the SQL Server? Means components means what? When you buy the SQL Server licensing, or else with the Microsoft SQL Server, you will also get these components. With the Microsoft SQL Server, you will also get these components. But of course, these are not free. If you start using these components again, you have to pay extra charge. But with the software, you will get all these components. Okay, right? So what are the other components you will get? So in the Microsoft software, usually you will get database engine. Database engine is the core for the SQL Server. We have discussed it, right? SQL Server is a software which is going to use for storing the data, processing the data, retrieving the data and all, right? So the database engine only will do all these things. Database engine services, we are going to call it as a database engine services. Database engine will store the data, will process the data and will retrieve the data from the hard disk and all. Okay, so apart from this database engine services, we will also get analysis services. We will also get reporting services and integration services. Okay, so apart from storing, processing and retrieving the data, okay, SQL Server, by using SQL Server, we can analyze the data. We can generate reports by using the SQL Server. We can integrate the data from different sources. Integration means what? So for example, you have a data in the Excel sheet. You want to upload that data to the SQL Server. You can do that. You can simply do that. You have a data in the table in SQL Server. You want to upload it to Excel sheet. You can do that. Not only from Excel sheet to SQL Server. Okay, from different data sources also, from MS Access to SQL Server, from Notepad, from simple Notepad to SQL Server. Okay, from different data sources like Oracle to SQL Server, MySQL to SQL Server, NoSQL to SQL Server. Okay, so you can integrate the data from different sources to different sources. You can import the data from different sources. You can export the data to the different sources. Okay, this is called integration services. By using integration services, you can do all these things. So with the help of SQL Server, we can analyze the SQL Server, we can generate reports, and we can integrate the different data sources and all. These three services, analysis services, reporting services and integration services, by using these three services, we can achieve all these things. So these three services, we are going to call it as a BIDS, Business Intelligence Development Studio. Okay, this is purely for reporting purpose, analyzing purpose. Okay, if you want to become a business analyst, if you want to become business analyst is also a different data, different job. Okay, like how SQL DBA is there, how database administrator is there, like that we have another job is there, that is called a business analyst. If you want to become business analyst, okay, you have to learn this BIDS course. Okay, BIDS is a complete very lengthy course, 3 months, 3.5 months it will take. Okay, in this BIDS course, what they will discuss this analysis services and reporting services and integration services and all. Okay, so these are the components of the SQL Server, database engine services and the BIDS. Under bits, you can see analysis, reporting, and integration services. These are the components of the SQL Server, right? So we have already discussed this CTP, RC, RTM, and all. Okay, right. Now we'll see how to install the SQL Server. Okay, how to install the SQL Server. So before installing the SQL Server, for every software, okay, maybe in today's class we cannot discuss SQL Server installation. Of course, we are going to install the Windows Server, right? First we have to install Windows Server, then we have to go for the SQL Server installation, right? So before SQL Server installation, what we have to do? SQL Server is a software, right? We can install this software on either desktop operating system or server operating system. So in the organization, we will not use desktop operating system to install the SQL Server. In the organizations, we will have servers only, Windows servers, Windows Server operating system will have. Okay, so if I want to install SQL Server, first I have to develop that platform, that base should be there, right? Right, how a base is important for a house, in the same way this base also should be there for installing your SQL Server. Okay, so what is the base? What we will do now, we'll simply create a virtual machine. I mean, like, we have to install, first of all we have to install VirtualBox software. What is this VirtualBox software? It will create virtual machines. By using VirtualBox, we can create virtual machines. So why virtual machines? Why not physical machines? There are two types of machines. One is virtual machine, second one is physical machine. Okay, one is virtual machine and second one is physical machine. So what is the difference between these two? Any idea, Srinivas and Ravi?
Yes, a virtual machine is in server, and
Okay,
physical machine is individual person using, like one place,
okay,
like physically one place,
okay,
like that. I think so.
okay, fine. Srinivas? Srinivas, any idea? Right, okay. So, yeah,
About
yes, Srinivas.
about physical machine, I don't have, sir. Virtual
Okay,
machine is we can create a number of I mean installations,
okay,
different types of
okay, fine, fine. Okay, right. So I'll tell you the difference between virtual machine and not a big difference, small difference. Okay, physical machine means you can look, feel, and touch the laptops which you are going to use, which you are using currently, the PCs which you are using currently. Okay, the servers which you can see with your eye, which you can touch the server, that is called your physical machine. Your laptops and all physical machines only. Why? Because you can touch your laptop, you can see your laptop, you can work with your laptop and all, right? So these are all physical machines only. Virtual machines means these machines will exist virtually. These machines will exist virtually. Virtually means what? It will exist but you cannot see, you cannot touch, you cannot feel. Machines will exist. Okay, you can see the interface only, you cannot see that particular. See, for example, laptop, you can see keyboard, you can see monitor, you can see hard disk, you can see all the peripherals, right, in the laptop, if you have laptop and all. But virtual machines, you cannot see all those things. You can only see that interface, how a interface will be there. Normal interface, like if you have, this is your interface, right, this is your operating system. You can see only operating system in the virtual machine. You cannot see other peripherals like okay, physical RAM and all, physical hard disk and all. Okay, you can see, but virtually you can see, you can, it will not exist physically. In your laptop, if you open your laptop, you can see a physical RAM slots, right? You can see a physical hard disk, right? You can see a physical keyboard, right? Everything is a physical. Okay, you can, it will be existed, you can touch it. But in the virtual machines, okay, those also will be, see, without having all these peripherals, it's not possible to create the machines. Okay, those also will be existed in the virtual machines. RAM will be there, hard disk will be there, CPU will be there, everything will be there, okay, but you cannot see and you cannot touch it. Means they will exist virtually, they will not exist physically. Okay, so everything will be there, RAM. So how it will work means, you will have a pool of RAMs. Okay, say for example you will have a, okay, a 500 GB of RAM, okay, or else 1000 GB of RAM. From that 1000 GB, if you want to create one virtual machine, you will take something like 64 GB you will take. Imagine you are creating a machine like this with this configuration, okay, 64 GB of RAM, 2 terabytes of hard disk, okay, and something like 8 core, okay, 4 core or 8 core, something like CPU. So what they will do, you will have all the repositories, you will have RAM bank, you will have CPU, you will have hard disk bank, everything will be there. From that, using one software, you are going to use that resources. From 500 GB you will take some RAM. From 10 terabytes of hard disk, you will take 2 terabytes of hard disk. Okay, from cores, from number of CPU cores, you will take 4 or 8 cores and all like that. Physically those peripherals will be exist. By using one software, we are going to use those peripherals to create the virtual machines. Okay, so this RAM and all you are getting from a different source, this hard disk you are getting from a different source, the CPU you are getting from a different source. You are just what you're doing, you are just assembling all those things, but not physically, virtually. By using one software, we can do that one. That is called virtual machine software. Okay, by using the virtual machine softwares, you can create the machines virtually. Okay, but for those virtual machines also, you should have RAM, hard disk, CPU and all. Those peripherals you are going to get it from a repository. Okay, who will manage all these things? A virtual machine software, virtualization software. Usually if I want to say virtualization software. Okay, in the market there are 3 different types. Mostly the famous are 3 different types of virtualization softwares are there. What are those 3 different types? VMware. Okay, VMware is a famous software for creating virtual machines. Next, from Oracle, we have, okay, virtualbox software. This is from Oracle. VirtualBox, VMware is from VMware only, VMware company only. Okay, VirtualBox software is from Oracle. Okay, and from Microsoft also we have one more virtualization software, that is called Hyper-V. These are the virtualization softwares. Okay, VMware, Oracle VirtualBox, and Microsoft Hyper-V. These are the virtualization software. You can use any of the software. I will be comfortable with this Oracle VirtualBox, but in the organization, they are going to use VMware machines. All those softwares will do only a common thing. They are going to create the virtual machines. We don't want which interface they are using, we want server, that's it. Okay, with this VMware also you can create server, with this Oracle VirtualBox also you can create server, and with this Hyper-V also you can create the server. No matter how you are creating, I want server. Okay, so this will be taken care by the Windows people, don't worry. Okay, this will be taken care by the Windows people. You will not create any virtual machines, you will not create any VirtualBox and all. Of course, to create you don't have permissions also. Okay, you cannot create also. First of all, you cannot create. For creating virtual machines and all, you should have permissions. So in the organization, Windows people will do all these activities. Okay, but in the training, we are only the Windows people, we are only the SQL DBA people, we are only the networking people, everything we are only the, right, we have to do everything, right? So that's why we have to learn how to create the virtual machines. Okay, right, we are going to discuss all those things, how to create virtual machines and all, right? So we are going to use VirtualBox software for creating virtual machines and all. Clear, Srinivas and Ravi?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, right? So no doubts, right? Right. So before if I want to install SQL Server, what are the steps? First, I have to create VirtualBox. Means first, if you don't have VirtualBox, virtual machine software, first install virtualization software or VirtualBox software. Okay. Then second step is create virtual machine. Then third step is just it's a machine. You have blank laptop. You went to one shop, okay, one electronic shop, and you just bought the blank laptop. They gave you Windows. Like they didn't give anything. They just you just bought a normal laptop and all. They didn't install any operating system. Okay. So if you have only a laptop, blank laptop, which doesn't have any operating system, what is the use? Okay, we cannot use, right? Operating system is an interface between you and the machine. If you don't have operating system, you cannot create any folders. You cannot work with the machine. Okay, so there is no use with that machine. Like a man without life. In the same way, a machine without life is called a blank machine. Okay, so next what I have to do, first I have to create a virtual machine. Then what I have to do, I have to install Microsoft Microsoft Windows Server operating system. Okay, this is the third step. Then finally you have to install SQL Server. Okay, this is the final step. To install the SQL Server, we have to do all these things. So I have already installed VirtualBox software in my machine. Okay, I have already installed VirtualBox software in my machine, but I'll tell you how to install the VirtualBox software and all. Okay, I will not tell you in my local machine. I'll just tell you in another machine. I'll show you how to install the VirtualBox software and all. Okay, then next what I'll do, I'll create the virtual machine. Then I'll install operating system. Then finally I'll install the SQL Server. Okay, right now first let me install this Oracle VirtualBox software. So I'm going to provide you the softwares and all. Okay, once you just confirmed by paying the first amount, then I'll provide you the software links and notes and all. Okay, right. Now let me start my Oracle virtual machine. Now I am installing Oracle VirtualBox software in the Oracle virtual machine. Why? Because locally I have already installed. Okay, for you, you have to install VirtualBox software in the local laptop. Okay, just to explain, I am installing in the VirtualBox. Let me install in this machine. Don't forget these, just forget these steps. Okay, I'll tell you from where you have to do in your machine and all. Right. So before installing this VirtualBox software, if your laptop is new laptop, okay, if you want to work with virtual machine kind of softwares, either VMware or virtual machine or Hyper-V, if you want to work with any of the virtual machine software, one option or one setting should be enabled in your laptop or PC. Okay, what is that option? Virtualization. Virtualization option should be enabled. Virtualization setting should be enabled in your laptop. Then only you can make use of this VirtualBox softwares and all. Where I can see the setting, it will be there in the boot. The setting is there in the boot settings. Okay, if you just while restarting the laptop, okay, while restarting the laptop, what you can do, okay, if you go to the boot screen, F10 something will be there, right? For some of the laptops, F10 will be there. For some of the laptop,
F2.
yeah, F9 will be there. For some of the laptops, F2 will be there. Okay, depends upon the vendor. Dell and all, it is kind of F10, maybe Lenovo F2 kind of thing. HP same F2, I guess. Okay, so you have to press that boot key. Once you just press that boot key, you will enter into the boot settings. There you can see one option called virtualization option. There you have to turn on that option. Then you can install the VirtualBox software and all. Okay, after, of course, if you don't turn on that option also, you can install it, but you cannot work it properly. It is not going to work properly. So you have to enable that option before creating the virtual machines and all. Okay, so if you have any issues in enabling that option, just let me know, ping me personally. I will help you to enable that option. Okay,
Excuse me, sir.
yeah.
Yeah, I have one question.
Yeah.
You told virtual machines we can install only in a new laptop.
Mm.
We cannot install already, which is we are using laptops.
Nothing like that. For new laptop, you have to do all this process. For old laptop, if virtualization
Okay.
is already enabled, then you can normally install. Okay. So till now,
Okay.
if you are not using virtual, if you didn't install virtual machines in your laptop, you have to follow the same process till now. But if someone is already installed, maybe earlier someone installed this virtual boxes and all, someone is already enabled these settings and all, then you can make use of this particular software. Okay. If that virtualization is not enabled, you have to enable it. If it was already enabled, you can install and you can work with it. I'm not saying only for what new machines only you can install, nothing like that. You can install for old machines also. But whenever, if it is for the first time, you have to enable the virtualization. Next time and all, no need to enable anything. Automatically that will follows. Clear, Ravi?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, sir.
yeah. Okay, so nothing like new machine, old machine and all. For all the machines, you have to follow the same process. Okay. So in the organization, we'll call laptops, servers, anything. We are going to call it as a machines. Machines are box. Okay. Everything we are going to call it as a anything. I mean, like laptops or servers, we are going to call it as a machines or boxes and all. Okay. Forget about all these things. Okay. I'll tell you. I'll explain each and every step. Okay. Don't worry about this. I just want to show how to install Oracle VirtualBox software. That's it. This is my physical laptop, right? So the one which you can see is my physical laptop. Okay. Now in my physical laptop, I have installed all these kind of virtual machines. These are all my virtual machines. Okay. So each one is again one laptop kind of thing. Each one is one virtual laptop. This is one virtual laptop. This is one virtual laptop. This is one virtual laptop. Okay. Now I just started one virtual laptop in my laptop. I am just installing, okay, SQL, not SQL Server. This Oracle VirtualBox software. Okay. So let me check where is the software. Just copying from my local machine to this virtual machine. So what is your step? Okay. So from once the copy is done, right, you will get the software. So how you will get the software? Okay. I'll send the links to download the software. You just download the VirtualBox software from that links. Once you just download that software from that links, you can see that software in your downloads. Okay. Like this. From this step, your work will start. Till then, what and all I did, forget about it. Okay. I'll tell you there is a separate process. I'll explain each and everything. Okay. Right. So once you downloaded, then your work will start. Like I have downloaded the software. Now I'm trying to install the software. Okay. How to install? Once you downloaded the software, right click on it, run as administrator. Any software, remember any software or any set of files as a DBA, you have to install in run as administrator mode only. Okay. If any small errors and all there, then those errors can be easily fixed if you run that software in a administrator mode. Okay. Right. You will get this kind of screen. Go next, nothing, next, install. Why? Because this is not our concept. Okay. Don't think like I'm not explaining. This is not our concept. This is done by the Windows people in the organization. Okay. For practice purpose, we have to do all those things, right? So that's why this is simply next, 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 install. Again, next, yes, install. Okay, you will get a pop-up like this. Click on install button again. Okay, that's it. Finish. Okay, once you just completed installation, you will get a pop-up like this window, or else you can close this. A shortcut will be created on your desktop. Double click on it, you can see it. Okay, this is called Oracle VirtualBox Manager. By using this Oracle VirtualBox Manager, you can manage all the virtual machines. You can increase the RAM, you can assign the RAM, you can delete the RAM. Okay, you can free up the RAM, you can add the extra storage and all. You can go for the machine settings and all. You can give the network settings. Okay, you can assign the IP addresses like that. Everything. Okay, you can shut down the systems. You can start the systems. Everything is can be done by this with the help of this Oracle VirtualBox Manager. Okay, you can manage like how SSMS is there for the SQL Server. Okay, by using SSMS, we can connect to the SQL Server and we can work right in the same way. This is the Oracle VirtualBox Manager is an interface for working with the virtual machines for starting, stopping. Okay, for giving any settings and all. Everything we can be done by this help of with this help of this particular Oracle VirtualBox Manager. Okay, right. If I want to create new machine and all, I have to click this new machine button and I have to give the interface and all. Right. Now I am not going to create any new machine in this laptop, in this virtual machine. Okay, I will create in the local machine. Right. So let me minimize this. Right. So I have installed my VirtualBox. Right. I have installed my VirtualBox and all. Second step is completed. Now what I have to do? Create virtual machine. So first step is completed. First install VirtualBox software. We have successfully installed VirtualBox software. Next I have to create the virtual machine. Okay. Now I have to create the virtual machine. So before creating the virtual machine, I'll tell you the process in the organization. What will be the process? If you want to install a new SQL server, if you want to install a new SQL server, what is the process? Okay, everything this kind of thing we can get it in the YouTube also. Everyone can explain, okay, how to create virtual machines and all. But process is very important. No one will explain process in the YouTube. What process we have to follow if you get a request of creating new creating new install, like installing new SQL server. You get a request of installing new SQL server. You cannot directly go to that machine and you cannot directly start installing the SQL server and all. It's not the process. If you are in the organization, for everything there will be one process. You have to follow the process. Okay, so immediately if you get, say for example, someone wants one SQL server. Customer, we are going to call him as a customer or client or user or application user. Everyone is same only. Okay, so we will get the request from the customers or clients, like I want a new SQL server, latest version of the SQL server. Okay, in my project they will raise a request. Say for example, some customer, X customer is there. Okay, he got a new project. In that project he want to use SQL server. He don't know how to install the SQL server, right? He will raise a request, please install latest version of the SQL server in my server or in my Windows server or else in my project. So what is the process if you want to install the latest version of the SQL server? Everything is same, right? You should have a virtual box, and in that virtual box Windows server should be installed. Okay, so once he raise a ticket, that is called a ticket. We are going to call it as a tickets. Okay, in the organization everything is ticket only. One request is called one ticket. By using some softwares like ServiceNow or else like Jira, ServiceNow or Jira, by using these two softwares we are going to raise the tickets. Everyone has to raise the tickets by using these two software. These are the famous softwares for raising the tickets and all. Okay, so once that customer raised a ticket, okay, so what will happen means it will go to the virtual team. First the hierarchy is here. Whenever you want to create a Whenever you want to install a new SQL server, this is the process, right? The 4 steps, we have to follow these 4 steps, right? So once he just created a ticket, first the ticket will goes to this VM team or Windows team. Most of the organization Windows team only will take care of VM activities also. 95% Windows team only will take care of VM activities like creating virtual machines and all everything. Some organization they will have separate team, VMware team and all. Okay, right. So first the ticket, that particular ticket will goes to that VM team or Windows team. Okay, so those they are going to create, of course, virtual machine. Why? Because already VirtualBox software will be installed. For every machine, we are not going to install this VirtualBox software. Only for the first time, we'll install this VirtualBox software. Okay. Next time onwards, you have to follow the 2, 3, 4 steps only. No need to follow first step. For every machine, we are not going to install VirtualBox. This is a software, right? For creating virtual machines. So for the first time, we will install the VirtualBox software. Of course, this is already done by the Windows people earlier itself. So first, it will go to the VM team or Windows team. They will create virtual machines. Okay, they will ask the customer how much RAM you want, how much memory you want, or else they will simply discuss in a meeting. Okay, what are the resources he need? The customer will tell you, I need this much of RAM, I need this much of storage, or else he will explain. If you don't have idea, he will explain to the manager. Okay, this is the data, this is how we are going to get the data, like daily we'll get this much of data. Once he got all the inputs, manager will decide, technical team will decide how much RAM they want. Okay, how much CPU they want, how much storage they want. Everything will be decided by the, okay, technical team and all. Once they decided all the resources, then that customer will raise a request. That request will go to the Windows team. Windows team will create a virtual machines. Okay, with customer inputs. So for example, customer told, I want 32 GB of RAM, I want 2 terabytes of storage, I want like particular 4 cores and all. Then Windows team will take all the inputs. They are going to create this virtual machine. Okay, once their work is over, of course, once they just created the machine, what they will do? In some cases, VM team, if VM team created it, they will forward the request to the why, because their work is over, right? Their work is just to create the virtual machines. Their work is over. Then they will forward this ticket to the Windows team. What Windows team will do? Windows team will install the operating system. What kind of operating system the customer wants? They will just follow up with the customer. They will ask what kind of operating system you need. Sometimes they will install the latest version of operating system. Okay, if 2016 is latest, they will install 2016. If 2019 is latest, they will install 2019. Like that, they are going to install that particular software and all, right? Next, once they install the Windows Server operating system, they will install the softwares, prerequisites and all. Okay, for every Windows Server, there are some prerequisite softwares like .NET Framework and all, and antivirus softwares and all. They will set up everything. Windows team will install operating system. With that operating system, they will install all the supported softwares also, like drivers, networking, everything they are going to take care. Once their work is over, it will go to the network team. Network team will do some of the changes. Okay, like they are going to assign one physical IP, one permanent IP address for that machine, and apart from that, they are going to open the ports. Okay, they are going to they are going to check the firewall rules and all. They are going to add the firewall rules. So what are the networking steps are there? Networking people will do that one. Finally, once machine is ready, then we will get the ticket and we will start working on the ticket. That means we have to install the SQL Server. Final step is, once everyone completed their work, once every team like VM team, Windows team, networking team, once all these people completed their work, finally we have to work. Okay, why? Because our machine is ready, right? Windows Server is ready, so everything is ready. So what is the pending thing? Installing SQL Server is the pending thing. Then that customer will follow up and they are going to forward the ticket to us. We have to work on the ticket and we have to install that SQL Server. Once we have installed that SQL Server, we have to close the ticket. This is the process. Clear, Ravi, Srinivas? Any doubts?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay, right. So this is the whole process in creating the virtual machine. Once everything is over, Then finally we will get the virtual machine, and we have to, okay, install the SQL server on that Windows server. And this is the process. Okay, right, fine. So now what we'll do in today's class, first we'll create a virtual machine. Okay, then we are going to install Windows server on top of the virtual machine. Okay, right. Right, now let me open. This is already open, right? So okay, fine. I'll create the new virtual machine. How to create new virtual machine? This is what my VirtualBox manager, right? I told you, right? For creating new machines, for settings of any machines, for managing all the machines, you have to use VirtualBox manager, right? Open your VirtualBox manager. I want to create new machine, right? Click on the new machine. Okay. So tell me what are the resources for each any server. What will be the resources? If you want to create a machine, what and all should be there? What and all main components should be there?
Operating system,
Very
RAM,
good, very good,
storage,
very good. CPU,
CPU.
that's it. That's it. These are the main components. Okay. So we are going to assign all those things now. That's it. So from where I'll get all those things means, okay, nothing. I don't have any extra software. I don't have any extra RAM and all. It is going to use my RAM only. See, for example, I have 12 GB of RAM. How to check the RAM and all? Go to MS Info 32. There you can see RAM. How much RAM is there? Okay, you can see, right? I have 12 GB of RAM. In this 12 GB of RAM, I'll give 1 GB or 2 GB to this virtual machine. Okay. If this virtual machine is up and running, then it is going to use that 1 GB or 2 GB. Imagine I gave 2 GB to this machine. If this machine is running, then it is going to use the 2 GB, which and all is allocated to this machine, it is going to use 2 GB. So I have only 10 GB in that case. If I gave another 2 GB to another machine, if that machine is up and running, if it is not running, if it is shut down, then it will not use the 2 GB and you can use the 2 GB internally. But if the machine is up and running, it will take the 2 GB from this 12 GB. If you created second machine, you gave 2 GB, it will also take 2 GB whenever you started that machine. So if two machines are running, 4 GB will be used by these two machines and you will have only 8 GB. You have created the third machine, which is 2 GB, that is also running, then 6 GB will be allocated to the virtual machines. You will have only 6 GB. All your local work can be done with the help of only 6 GB. If your machines are down, then you have 12 GB. But if the machines are up and running, they will use their RAM. Okay. So I am not getting the RAM from any other source. I am simply using my local RAM. So that's why if you have more RAM, you can create more machines and you can give more RAM to each machine so that your machine will be faster. Okay, your machine will be faster. So that's why make sure you have at least 8 GB to 12 GB of the RAM in your laptop. If you have 8 GB to 12 GB of the RAM, then you can create 3 machines. Okay, why? Because not immediately after 1 month, we have to create 3 machines. Okay, for Active Directory setup, for nodes, node 1 and node 2 setup, we are going to create 3 machines parallelly. We are going to start all these 3 machines at a time and we are going to work with all these 3 machines at a time. So if you give at least 2 GB, 2 GB, 2 GB for each machine, okay, your local system should have at least 4 GB to run properly. Then total 10 GB. So 10 GB RAMs will not get it right. So that's why usually 8 GB or 12 GB is better. If you have 8 GB, of course you have to give 1.5 GB to each machine. If you have 12 GB, you can give 2 GB of each machine. Okay, so that you can create 3 machines and you can work.